Hey everyone, this is Brandon McCaskill from The Brandon McCaskill Show. You're about to watch a clip from our latest podcast, so please enjoy it. But just really quickly, we rely on the generous donations of our viewers. Our content is free on our various platforms, but if you see the vision we're trying to accomplish here and want to get behind us, you can give a one-time donation to this email on the screen, or you can become a monthly supporter on Patreon. There you'll have access to more content, and again, it's just a great way to keep us afloat. So thank you so much, and enjoy the show.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, and forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Over at Rainbow Park, we had a tent city, and it caused a lot of, we'll say, kerfuffling. Is that a word? Made a lot of neighbors in the neighborhood quite upset, and we would have town halls and all these debates online about what to do with these folks and how to care for them and how to just eliminate this problem altogether. And so recently it closed. The encampment is gone completely. And I don't know about you, Brendan, but I feel like the attitude in Sarnia kind of acts as if this problem is gone because Rainbow, the encampment at least, is gone. What do you think?
Well, the encampment definitely, I would say the crime severity index of that neighborhood has gone down. That's going to be a fact, but these things have all gone elsewhere. There was obviously all the problems that come associated with that. You have tents catching fire. You had increase in violent crime in that area. You had local property thefts that were skyrocketing at that time as well. So these things have just moved elsewhere in our city, I find.
Yeah, just different areas, right?
Yeah.
Different pods. And it's not just located to specific areas. Like I've been hearing stories of even in like what we would call the nicer areas of Sarnia, where, you know, the houses are a little bit more new, and you're hearing these stories of break-ins and like all kinds of stuff. And so it's still a very big problem. And I'm just looking at the Facebook group. It's called Take Back Our City from Meth, Fentanyl, and Pills. And you just do yourself a service and just scroll just for a few minutes, and you'll see all these complaints because people are able to post anonymously. And I'm just reading one here from October 3rd. It says, I just called the Sarnia police because there's two homeless men fenty bending at the bus stop across the street from a school while kids are arriving to school for the day. This is not the first time I've seen them here. The police told me they can come and check, but if they're not doing anything illegal, they can't make them leave as there are homeless people everywhere. And they're asking, seriously, while kids are trying to get to school, they get to see that? I get that frustration.
That is very frustrating. And that's also a mixed message from what the Sarnia police give us, because they talk about their monthly enforcement blitz where they go around and they look for people with warrants, or they stop people doing open drug use in the city. I believe they say in order to combat social disorder, which I think was an excellent term coined by the chief of police. Social disorder is exactly what this is. We can't have our kids being subjected to seeing these things on their way to school or anywhere in public. Like, it is not socially acceptable to do that. But when you go and call the police and say, "Oh, they're doing drugs in the bus stop," well, sorry, there's nothing we could do about that.
Yeah.
And I've run into that personally in the city. I don't know about you. At one point, I had known people who owned an apartment building. They had somebody break into the apartment building, and the person tried to get into every door inside of the unit, and they couldn't. Ultimately, when they called the police, they found the guy sleeping in the stairwell, and he had break and enter tools on him and everything. Really? They confiscated a knife from him. But they let him go. They trespassed him and let him go.
Yeah.
Now, it is a crime to break and enter into somewhere, which this guy did. He
Yeah.
broke and entered into an apartment building, and he had break and enter tools on him.
Yeah.
And they were, well, there's nothing we could do.
Dang. Yeah, that's crazy. And so obviously for the longest time we've been, as a community, fighting over what is the solution. We talk about mental health. We talk about police enforcement. There's even ideas being thrown around about, if you want a place to stay at one of these homeless shelters, that you got to work for it, like put some effort into the community to kind of earn a bed. So we have all these ideas floating around, but why don't you think we've been able to come to a reasonable and like plausible, workable solution?
I think empathy is one of the more toxic things involved in this, that there is a huge amount of people who have a lot of empathy for people who are disenfranchised and who are hurting. And empathy can be a very good thing. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to say like it's an all bad thing here.
Yeah.
But when it gets to a place where you can't talk about it publicly and you have to start posting about it anonymously online,
that's a good point.
because otherwise the people who have like all the empathy for it, they're going to like attack you and shame you publicly.
Yeah.
We can't have a discussion on it because it's like the empathy people just want to give everybody who is disenfranchised or homeless or whatever, they want to give them everything.
Yeah.
But they don't want to talk about what the solution is. And I feel like a lot of the times their ideas are to give them more rope so they can hang themselves. And that's not good either.
No.
And we talked a little bit about, as a Christian, I think the one thing we need to look at is giving people purpose and a hope. And
Yeah.
you can't give that to somebody. Like the government can't give that to somebody.
No, you need to have a will to live, right? And I love that you just said that, because from like an atheist perspective, if we are just stardust bumping into stardust, there's no meaning. There's no ultimate like objective meaning there. So what kind of motivation do you have as an individual to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get into a better situation? But like you're saying, what if you believed that you were here for a purpose and that you're created uniquely by God for an ultimate plan? Like, would that not motivate you to not only do it for yourself, but do it for others?
Yeah, and when you have people who rely on you, like your family and your friend, and you have something to work towards, something that gets you out of bed every day.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, like what do you have?
Right.
So you could give this person a home, you could give this person a job, you could give this person all of these things.
Right.
Well, ultimately, this person needs to now maintain said home.
Yeah.
And when you own a home, right? I own a home. The number one thing with owning a home is you have to treat it like a business at the end of the day. You have to think about your maintenance. You have to think about everything that needs to be cleaned. Everything is on a schedule inside your house, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say that there is so much business planning and even just doing that you have to do work to do that, to have those things. That's
very true. And I think, well, the large part of the problem is a lot of these folks, like and not to be kind of, I'll just be blunt, they look like zombies walking around. And if you were to try to strike up a conversation, like, because we're talking about almost like sharing our faith with them, like telling them that they have a purpose, a lot of them wouldn't comprehend that. They're not at that point. Like, they're dying. And what do we do when we see somebody dying? Like, do we ask permission to rescue someone from drowning?
That's a good point, because we did talk about this, and I did see an interesting CBC article recently that talked about forced detox on people. And I had some problems with hearing that ultimately. It does. It kind of sets off an alarm in you. Like, it doesn't seem right. But your analogy there kind of goes, well, if somebody's drowning, you don't ask them for permission to save them. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, this is just an idea or concept I wouldn't want them to abuse. It's kind of like how they would give mental patients in the 30s, what do you call it, a lobotomy.
Right.
Right? So there's so many ways it could be abused by the government.
Right.
But is it something that I don't think any idea is off the table at this time.
No. Yeah. It's worth talking about the crazy things just to get them out there. And I mean, because what's been working?
Yeah, I would say Christianity has been working a lot. And I do have friends who work and operate at River City Vineyard, and the pastor there and the organization that he has set up has done a lot of work with a lot of struggle, I would say. But ultimately, that shelter went drug-free, so you require a drug test to go and stay there.
Yeah.
And since they've done that, it allowed a lot of the residents who stay there and live there, it helps them have a better opportunity to get themselves situated so that they could do things.
Right.
And this church ultimately had gone against the grain with the city because the city wanted to sue them and all this other stuff. They did get sued by the city. It was a big ordeal. But the church and what they decided that they wanted to do is that they have like a right or they have a responsibility to the community to offer these services. And so like they fought it to like this major court battle. And I think that would be something worth talking about with the pastor there sometime.
Yeah.
He's just truly a fascinating guy.
What's that fella's name?
His name is George Esser.
That's right. I knew that. I just couldn't remember it. But yeah, that'd be great to have him on, just talk about the current situation and what he's seeing.